guys, welcome to the Local BGR. I'm Ishwar. This is a small video, introduction video I'm going to make for my YouTube, and then the follow-up videos there will be more on board game reviews for all the games I own and the future games I'm going to hold. I'm going to purchase. Right, I'm going to do a small review on each of them. Okay, so this is going to be an introduction video on this YouTube video. So this is going to be the beginning. I have not seen a template how people do this kind of vlogs or this kind of video thing. So this is going to be a tryout for me. I am trying my best to do this and get it up because no one has done this before. So and if I'm not so sure if people have done it locally, but I've seen Dice Tower and few other channels have done it, like Rob, who are quite good in the way they express about and review about board games. um, my channel is not sponsored, so this is my own initiative, and I'm very happy to do it, especially to put it across to Singaporeans, the awareness of board games and how it can be fun compared to a lot of internet. Now we have a lot of online games, and even online games also we do have board games, but playing board game with somebody, with a person in reality, sitting opposite you, and playing the game is very much different from playing online. For me, that is my opinion, and I feel that it's more fun, and they can't be like keyboard warriors. You just can then knock their head and you say, hey, play the game lah. You can do that, and and it's more fun. It makes the game more interesting and challenging as well. So, and the games have grown throughout the ages, and you can see the evolution of board games at recent years, how much as the mechanisms have changed. So for me, I'm going to give you a small introduction about myself first. Okay, like I said, my name is Ishwar. I was doing a personal vlogs on my own Instagram, and some of my friends said, why don't you make YouTube videos? And I said I will do if I have the chance to do it, and if I can come forward brave enough to do something. And today was a good chance for me. And so what I did, I set up everything. I'm not using a high hand recording device. I'm using my handphone to do the recording. And what you see behind is some of my few board games. Some of my games which I have recently bought, and some of the old games which I'm still having. So I just racked it up on top so that you all can have a rough idea what are the board games I own at the moment. And there are few there's more below has been racked down on my shelves, and at the side also I have a lot of board games. So I think the next thing is I need to buy a bigger house because I have no space for my board games right now. I'm more than a board game player. I'm actually a board game hoarder. Okay, so that goes to the history of why I started loving board games. So I grew up in Toa Payoh, so and in my grandma's house, and I was the only child. So in what do you call that? In When it comes to board games, I had nobody to play except for my cousin sister, who was very young. So she also doesn't play much of a board game. She was more like for a writer, and she used to scribble on the books. And so I was a lone child, and I had no one to play board games. Although I owned one or two board games, it was very rarely played. Then when I went to primary school, that was the first time I was exposed to how interesting board games were. Because during Children's Day, National Day, kids were able to wear their own clothes and come down with their board games a half day, and you can see from morning to the afternoon, kids were playing board games. And still, I was a loner in school as well, and I used to watch how these kids played, and it was very interesting because I could see the enjoyment, and the mechanism was very beautiful. It's just rolling the dice, trying your luck, and just moving forward. It's like snake and ladder kind of thing. um, I had a chance to play one or two games, and I had a very good time. So that was first I was exposed to board games. And when I went to secondary school, okay, studies was there, and I was a bit slow in my education wise. So what happened? Although I was trying to cope up with my studies, I got the chance to play Magic the Gathering because a few of my classmates were playing Magic the Gathering, and I got a chance to play it, and I was interested in it. So from after school, I was my school was in Potong Pasir, so from Potong Pasir we will go to Bishan to buy the games, and it was expensive. And I came from a very from a low SES family, and I had to save up my lunch money to go and buy this cards to play. So from a board game, you could see the small changes where people started playing Magic the Gathering, and more like a card based kind of strategy game. And for me, I bought the game, although I didn't understand much of the mechanism. I could say that I bought most of the cards because, and I love the Magic the Gathering is because of the arts. The art pieces came along with it. That means the pictures over there. It was something beautiful and attractive. I wanted to draw something like that. Eventually, I started playing the game. I started building my own decks. That was my second time board games came into my life. Then yeah, I still had the interest, but then again, I still didn't have the finances to purchase a lot of board games. And after that, I went to national service, and although we had the rooms, recreational rooms, and there were board games there, most of my friends in my campmates were basically preferred um, going out, hanging out, rather than playing board games. What happened was the last final days during the ORD time, my one of my officers, my overall in charge, was actually was suggesting, let's go to Mind Cafe to play a board game. So that was the third time I was exposed to board games again, and I was 18 years old, or no, I was 20, and I was exposed to the board games. I really didn't know there was actually a stall which had a lot of board games, and you could have drinks and while playing the game, and there was somebody to teach you the game's mechanism, how to be played, and how to enjoy the game fully with some of your friends. So yeah, so that's how it went about. So when I went there, I was I was happy because there was different genres of board game. Suddenly you played Monopoly, then suddenly you play Magic the Gathering, and then you go to a place where it's full of board games, where you see different kind of board games. Although back then, once in a while I've gone to Toy Us, and I've seen the games over there. I was not so enthused about it. Although I liked it, but I was not so enthusiastic about buying a board game. When I was even younger, also it's the same thing. When you give me a chance to buy a He-Man toy or a board game, I would have gone for a He-Man toy because, like I said, I have nobody to play with, so there was no much of me investing on it. So after Mind Games, that's when I got introduced to games at Pi, or Games of Pi. Yeah. When I got to know them, they were in Orchard Road already. So when I went there, I was like, wow. So and after my national service, I started working with a security firm, hotel security firm, and yeah, my income was just nice for me to buy one or two games, or maybe one game per month. Or but even then also, I didn't wanted to spend too much on them because I had bills to settle, and I had to take care of my own expenses. So so that's how it went. And back then I was staying in my auntie's house also. It was a bit more difficult for me because there was no much space for me to put in more of the items. I rather bought books to educate myself rather than buying a board game. So my priorities were more on books back then. Then what happened, I eventually, after my I think after a couple of years, in 2012 I got married. So when I got married in 2013, I got my own house. So when I got my own house, one thing I told myself is I want to have a lot of books in my room, in my man cave, and I want to have a lot of board games, and whatever things which I wanted to buy, I bought it. So I bought myself yo-yos as well. So there are few things which I've always been consistent about from 2013 onwards, was buying books, board games, yo-yos, and it just grew. So now my room is full of books and board games, and I have just allocated one small space for my yo-yos as well. But that's not enough for me. Now I need to find a bigger house to have to allocate all those board games and keep them stored very well, because Singapore is quite humid and it's get dusty very easily. So yep. So yeah, the next thing is to look for a new bigger house for this. But till then, I'll still buy board games. And so when I bought these board games, it's either to play. But my wife is not a very she plays with me board game, but it's very rare. It's once in a while. And I have few friends who started playing, and I got to know few places where they play board games, but they have the board game nights. But I was not, as I said, I preferred my social life to be very very limited. And in that social life, the social circle I had, they were not so fantastic in playing board. I mean, they were not interested in playing board games. So that an issue I had. But even then, I found a small community near my house there, where they do have board game nights every Thursdays. So you could see also in this, while I was talking, you see the progress. I get to see the mind games. After that, games that buy. And then uh, now you see a lot of, you can see the awareness, and the community of board games also grew all these years. And suddenly now you can see at every places like Bishan, uh, in Bukit Merah, in few other places, there's a board game shop. You go to one area, there's always a board game shop. Even in Orchard, there's a board game shop. A couple of board game shops, if I can remember. So maybe I'll do a small review about them also later part of my in this channel. So that is the small history. So now I got a chance to buy board games. So I started spending my money on board games as well. So in the end, I became a board game hoarder than a board game player. Okay, what can you expect from this channel? Basically, what I'll be doing is I'll be talking about the board games I've purchased. The is it suitable for? I mean, I can't say which is suitable for you, but is it okay for you to own it, or you just can play it one time, and then will you have the interest for the board game? That's going to be my review. And some of these board games, it's almost the cost of a PS5. And you can see that the evolution of a board game has gone so much that what you can buy for $20, $30 have eventually went up to $400, $500 with that expansion and everything like that. So do you really want to purchase this game? Is it fair enough for you to keep them in your house? You're going to play it every day? Is it going, you're going to use it every day, or something which you are consistently playing? So these are the questions I'll be asking about this board game while I'm doing the review of it. uh, why Another thing I'm doing this board game is I've never seen anybody do it in locally. Maybe I'm stupid, so I have no idea. I've never came across somebody's doing vlogging or a review about board games. So let me start it off, and I think even I've started off, I'm going to put it on YouTube. It's going to be a public thing. So the last thing I ever done was doing vlogs on my Instagram. So I've kept it private. It's only for my friends and the people who are following me who are able to view it. So after the encouragement, now I'm coming up with this videos of me talking about board games. This is going to be my start. So I'll be very cautious about how I'm going to put across this contents, and not to hurt anybody's feeling, but at the same time, I'm going to give a very straightforward reviews of board game, how I perceive the board games as a Singaporean, and is it worth it to buy? Do you have the time to play this game, and whether you are able to store this game in your house, because some of them are very huge. Okay, and how buying board games can lead you to every other thing. So again, let me continue a small part of the history. So I started buying board games. Now I'm into miniatures as well. So this board games comes with miniatures, and I had to draw my line where I'm going to go. Either I'm going to play the miniatures in part of the board games, like for Dungeons and Dragons, for the role playing games, or I'm just going to stick with miniatures and paint them, just to put them, and I have no space again. So I have to be very cautious how I'm going to spend my money and where I'm spending my money on, and is it worth it or not. So these videos are going to basically going to be on the reviews of board games, and maybe maybe once in a while I'll be doing on miniatures as well, which comes along with it, and I can show you some of my paintings as well, how I paint my miniatures. If you ask me, am I fantastic about painting miniatures? No, I have seen better guys in Singapore who are doing fantastic jobs in painting their miniatures. But whatever I know, whatever I've learned, I'll put it across, and you can. I'll try to put it very in simple terms so that people can get a rough idea, because I want this awareness to go to every economical status people, because I do not want only the rich people to be affording board games or playing board games, whereas I want it to be more accessible to everyone. So that is my idea for this platform. So to start off with, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share the different kind of genres of board games. For that, just give me a second. How am I going to put it across? Okay, so for me, I've only played, like, most of us have played Monopoly only, right? We have played Cluedo or Risk. So some of these games have come with strategy. Most of them are strategy based games, but now there's different genre. So there's games which are called under abstract, and then we have area control. Area controls mostly, I think all we can remember of area control is Risk. We are capturing a place, and we are able to do. It has already grown up to a different level. Like we have area control games such as, wait, just give me a second, which is the area control game I own. Oh my god, I have so many of them. Uh, let's see. I think Blood Rage is a area control as well. Oh yeah, it's and Rising Sun is also area control. Um, then campaign legacies. So there are a few games which have like Pandemic. Pandemic was a very good start, because the game itself was already a fantastic game, and eventually it grew. Now we have Pandemic legacies. They have season 1 and season 0, which is quite season 1, I think so. There's no season 0, but there is and they are very entertaining, and it's I think it's been placed in a higher level in the board game society or board game community in different countries. So there's Pandemic for area. I mean for campaigns and legacies. Then we have deck builders. The basic deck builder I could remember was Magic the Gathering. But then we have Dominion. I have Dominion as well. So Dominion is a very good deck builder. Smash Up. Smash Up was fantastic, because I started collecting them, and then and there was too many of their expansions. So I think I stopped with something. I think I stopped with the kitty, funny looking kind of expansion. I think I should start continue buying them as well. But they have already moved on to Marvel expansion, I think so, lately. So that is something I'm looking forward for, because I like comic characters. So let's see how it goes. Maybe I'll have a look at it before purchasing it. Then we have Dexterity. Okay, one of the games which I do not hold or have at the moment is a Dexterity game. Dexterity games in Singapore are very, very limited. It is, I mean, they have, but it's basically more for children. It is not for somebody who are for higher ages, or a lot of older people. I mean, above, like, the teens will not be playing dexterity games. Most of them, I'm saying, but a dexterity game is something which I really loved. Okay, one game I really love to own again is Go Monkey Go. I still remember, I was young, I used to have this game, and my cousin brother spoiled it, sadly. I'm viewing it at the eBay right now. I'm keeping an eye on it, but I really, really love to own that game. Okay, that was a dexterity game. There are few dexterity games at the scene, which I think it's something which I want to see more of this dexterity game coming into place. Twister is a dexterity game as well. So which I mean we do play it, but you know, I'm an obese guy, so me and Twister is going to be far apart. I'm not going to play with it, but then again, it's going to be fun. So something about dexterity game is I'm looking forward is to see more of that genre to grow in coming years. Another one is RPG or dungeon crawler. Recent years, dungeon crawler has just boomed. It's just started growing because we already had Dungeons and Dragons. Okay, we had a lot of dungeon masters, and then a lot of communities playing, small communities having dungeons and dragon knights. So dungeon crawler, the only dungeon crawler I used to play was Diablo, and that's online. But then again, a lot of dungeon crawlers just came out. Okay, currently I'm owning dungeon crawler. The latest one I'm holding is what? Mm, I think I'm having Gloomhaven. Gloomhaven is fantastic. I used to own. I'm still owning Gloomhaven. I think I have a lot of dungeon crawlers actually. To be honest with you, uh, where else? Nemesis is something different because Nemesis is also a dungeon crawler, but it's more based on space. Okay, so there are a lot of this expensive games which are based on dungeon crawling team. Sorry, and so again, these are the few I knew. Okay, then there is also sandbox games. Okay, there are few others, but then again, that's for later videos, which I'll be doing reviews on some of these board games based on that genre. So for that, that's about it. I think so for the start of introduction. Maybe you get a rough idea where I'm heading to, and how is this going to be. Wait, let me see what other things I have because I wrote it down because this is the first time I'm doing video, so I have to write it down and see what are the things I have to talk about on the first video, so that people get a rough idea of how I'm going to do it. Oh, more importantly, please subscribe to these videos and to this channel to see further videos of me making reviews of board games. um, Again, like I said, this is basically for Singaporeans. Okay, so maybe sometimes I will be using Singapore lingos to talk about board games, or it's from an Asian point of view, especially a Singaporean point of view of how I view board games and how it's going to be and is it affordable. First thing, it's Singaporeans, we have to be very very cautious about money. So is it, we spending that money of $500 to $600 where I can buy a PS5 or something like that, is it worth it or not? So there will come a point where I will talk about the money as well, how much is it, and sometimes you can see the hype of it, and then we could see the evolution of board games again when it comes to Kickstarter, where they sell the whole package to you and you can wait for about 1 year or 2 year later, then they will come and say to you, are you patient enough? That's another thing I'm going to answer in one of the videos. So this is going to be my first video. The second video which is coming out, maybe I will do it. Okay, I need to do first few videos as soon as possible so that you all don't get bored, so you all can have a rough idea where I'm heading to. And the second video I'm going to do about is one of the common games which you all have played, and what is my personal opinion about that game. Okay, and that's about it. Okay, and so hopefully um, you all will like these videos, and I'm doing it for my own satisfaction actually, to be very honest with you. So those people who want to comment, please be nice to me. Okay, I am new, so do not bully me. Okay, although I'm a student of psychology, I am able to tolerate all this cyberbullying and everything like that. I will try to delete comments which are rude. Okay, let's be more friendly towards each other. Okay, this community is growing. I do not want to put the toxicity in another level, because lately what I'm hearing about board game community is it's getting toxic. Okay, every community is getting toxic, but board games, it's what are you going to be toxic about? It's going to be fun. So let's move forward for this from here. Okay, soon you all will be seeing my another review. Most probably, I think after this video, I will be doing the board game review maybe tonight. So, yeah, so you can expect another video to be up as well. Okay, so thank you. Okay, this is Ishwar signing off, and thank you for watching Local BGR, which is the local board game review. Okay, thank you.